Hey everybody, welcome back to the next episode of the Bashcast. Sorry we didn't post one last week. It was finals week, and we went on kind of a 1 week hiatus, and we were all pretty stressed out. But don't worry, we're back with a brand new episode with some new good information. And if you're wondering why all the sunglasses, it's summer. That's right.
Summer.
It is the first week of our summer, and it's going to be a good one because we're going to have Bashcast coming at you guys all summer long. So hope you guys are ready.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We got some fun ideas that we're
We
preparing. And
got a lot of awesome bonus episodes. We got, we got some good bonus episodes.
we just stuff we can't tell you about.
Yeah, it's so good, we can't tell you guys about it. So let's get right down to business.
I don't know what to
All
say.
right,
I'm just saying,
so
yeah,
let's
I agree.
first off introduce ourselves once again.
That's right. I'm Hunter.
I'm Jeff.
And I am Quaid.
I cannot believe I forgot that. I forgot who I was there for a second. Okay,
Yeah, we
that's
all do.
the point.
I didn't recognize
What
you.
have
It was
I
the glasses,
become?
I'm telling you.
I know it's the glass.
Yeah,
on
you
the cover.
forget who you are. You're so
First topic
cool.
up, Ghostbusters. We're kind of late to this party because we missed a week.
Mm-hmm.
But Ghostbusters is now officially the most hated movie of all time. And this isn't the classic Ghostbusters. This isn't 1984.
Mm-hmm.
This is 2016 Melissa McCarthy Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you can call it the Kristen Wiig Ghostbusters.
Yeah,
I guess you
Kristen-
could say
I'm
it's
just
Melissa
saying, like,
McCarthy.
That's right.
Actors.
We're just not calling it the
Mm-hmm.
Leslie Jones Ghostbusters.
She almost deleted her Twitter over this. Because
Really?
She was getting
Wow.
so much like hate mail from
And-
fans.
Wow. That
This
was
is
amazing.
a very, I don't know, this is not something you want to tread upon lightly because
Yeah.
the response to the criticism of this movie has been not very, I don't know, not very nice. There's a lot
It's
of
not
there's a lot of
lukewarm.
accusations of sexism when people criticize the movie, when a lot of people are genuinely angry by it as they're like actual old Ghostbusters fans, and they really don't think this is what's best for the series.
My problems with it aren't that it's an all-female cast at all.
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
not
definitely.
even at
No,
all.
yeah, no.
Because I think some of the people on there are real possible of good work.
Yeah.
Because Kristen Wiig, I think, was one of the best SNL cast members they ever had. And, Melissa McCarthy, even though she's typecast a lot of times, in Bridesmaids, she actually made me laugh sometimes.
And I thought Spy was pretty good.
yeah,
so-
so there you go.
They all have awesome potential for comedy. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
this is potentially a funny movie, but it's just all the same jokes rehashed in a 2016 version. They just released trailer number 2, and I feel like they did this in response to all the hate that they're getting because it's just a recut trailer of basically the same stuff, except they just spoil the ending.
Yeah, why would you do that?
They just show the Stay Puft Monster at the very end. That's literally it. That's all it is. They're like, okay, we're just gonna go ahead and get this out right now, and like the Stay Puft Monster's in it. So
And they-
and
they threw in the original Ghostbusters theme, like into
Seriously?
the trailer. If I'm right, yeah, it was the newest one. They had the original Ghostbusters theme
oh
in it.
man, I can't remember.
I can't remember.
Instead of in the first one where I think they did this kind of like, well, it's the Ghost, so they put in like that da na 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 na, but they put it really slowly. But now they just literally played the Ghostbusters theme in this trailer. I
They're
think
just-
they're trying to say like, hey, they're trying to put the mood in of the original Ghostbusters. I think instead of trying to go like, oh, it's different.
They should have made Ghostbusters 3 with a male and female team, and they're like trying to continue the
Well-
franchise that is Ghostbusters.
Yeah, I don't mind if you.
I think it'd be more interesting.
I think if this isn't the best time to do it, like why now? After I forget the actor who played one of the Ghostbusters, the original ones.
Harold Ramis?
Harold Ramis, yeah. When they're waiting until now, after his death, to do this, why couldn't they have tried to do it before? Because there were so many times when Ghostbusters 3 was supposedly, from what I heard, like they were trying to develop it for such a long time. Why now that he's gone? A lot of people are saying things like that. So.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are like hating on this, and honestly, my opinion is if you hate it, just don't go see it. I mean, just don't give it money.
that's just
Don't make the money. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'd
who
say
cares?
that's just it. I mean, that's one of the problems with some audiences today in movies. I think, just it doesn't matter whether you like the trailer of the movie or not. You're still going to go see it.
Yeah,
if you
I hate
really
that.
don't like it, then just complain maybe a little bit, and then just don't go support it if you really don't like it that much.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just kind of unfair not only to, yourself, I think, but it's unfair to the studio.
It was-
even though they shouldn't have been doing this thing. They,
Mm-hmm.
it's just they put in there. We're hoping that maybe it'll be so bad that people will go see it or something like that.
There
If
is
that makes any sense.
Just
at all.
throw Ghostbusters in there. Just say it's a Ghostbusters movie, and people who are fans, even though they know that they're not gonna like it, are gonna go see it anyway because it's Ghostbusters.
Yeah, that's just it.
and this movie just sell toys, I think. But there is something that Paul Feig for me has lost my respect.
Paul Feig, but the guy who directed Spy and Bridesmaid.
He's directing Ghostbusters,
I knew that.
and he has lost respect for me because he came out with a quote that I'm gonna kind of touch on. It's not the exact quote
So you're
verbatim,
paraphrasing.
but I'm kind of
it?
paraphrasing it because he said some worse things than I'm gonna say. But he basically said that every single nerd out there and geek are complete douchebags and they just don't care about movies.
Ooh.
That's what he said in response to the feedback of Ghostbusters, and he used different words than I just used, and he also said it in a different tone, a much angrier tone. But if you're trying to appeal to the fans of Ghostbusters, which are nerds and geeks in general,
Oh yeah, definitely.
why would you insult them? It's just gonna make it worse.
It doesn't help the situation at all. It's like who are you trying to appeal to? The art house crowd or something like that?
It's just he's trying to get that mainstream.
It's the same as
stuff.
who directed. It was the movie with was it Jesse Eisenberg? It was
American Ultra.
American
Yeah,
Ultra.
American Ultra, yeah.
His response to that was.
And have the same thing happened with Fantastic Four. He blamed the studio. He blamed Fox because of the bad movie. He didn't blame himself.
Right.
And there were a lot of the writers were also blaming the director, and it was just there were a lot of problems in the process. So I'm not gonna see this movie. I'm not. The original Ghostbusters is untouchable to me and is a near perfect movie for me.
I
Definitely, and it
refuse.
still holds up very well. It's still very funny and just heartwarming, and it's just classic.
Yeah.
And I implore you, if you're an old Ghostbusters fan and you don't think this movie's going to be good, I implore you not to see it either. I mean, because you're going to be supporting a potential sequel to the film that you don't like if you go and see
We
it.
don't want to do that, really.
We
Should
do
be called
not want that.
Ghostbusters 2-2. There's
2-2.
like 2 twos.
2.0.
2.0. Oh god, dude, don't give him
Ghost
ideas.
harder.
Don't give him ideas.
Oh no.
Going
Please-
Ghost.
We'll have to censor.
Danny Phantom.
Anyway, so we're all pretty much down on
Yeah,
this.
I'm not. I'm down with the director. Paul Feig has lost my respect with that quote, and maybe he'll get it back one day, maybe not. I
But
don't really care.
maybe he'll look back and
guess.
think, okay, I made a mistake or something.
Yeah,
Because some directors do that. But
All right,
what do you have to
guys.
say, Quinn?
Thumbs out and pointing the up or down and
Go.
Yeah, that's pretty.
down.
It's pretty much unanimous. This movie's gonna.
I'd say we're not gonna.
I think the movie's gonna make like maybe $14 million opening night.
I think it's going to make a lot.
You do?
I honestly think it's going to make.
Okay.
I'm just
It's
gonna
going
play
to make
devil's advocate.
enough.
Okay, fair enough. But we'll just see.
All right. Well, from some bad news to the next. Well, this isn't bad news. This is kind of for any Daniel Craig fans, it's bad news. Daniel Craig has decided to not continue to be James Bond. And what was the quote? He said that he would.
Well, yeah. What he basically said is they're off. It's not set in stone. He hasn't said himself he's going to quit, but he's made it pretty plain that he does not want to do it because they've offered him $100 million contract to reprise the role, and he'd say he'd rather slit his own wrist than play James Bond again.
That's pretty.
Which
That's
is
pretty,
just,
it's pretty extreme.
I'll tell you, and it's really sad for me because, personally, because Daniel Craig has been such a good Bond, I think.
He's been a great Bond.
And what's amazing is that a lot of people thought, at the time when they cast him, it was like, oh, this is going to be terrible. He's too short. He doesn't look right. Yet he's proven to be probably the best James Bond since Sean Connery.
Oh yeah.
But
Casino Royale is one of my favorite Bond movies ever.
Casino
I love
Royale
it.
is a fantastic movie.
Great.
Well, I think we've reached enough James Bond movies to where we can. I don't know. I feel like it's been enough to where it's okay that he goes. I don't know. It's sad.
Yeah, he's had 4. He's had, for those of you who don't know, Casino Royale, Quantum of Solace, which was basically kind of part 2 of Casino Royale.
I didn't like it as much as Casino Royale.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean,
So,
I'd
but
understand by now because
Skyfall and Spectre. But
yeah,
you
and
were
those are
saying, Clay?
long movies too. So I'd understand around, after like 5, 4, whatever, that, he'd be kind of tired of the role. And I think it'd be, I don't know, it's all right to move on at this point. If it was a couple movies ago they decided to quit, that wouldn't be very cool. But I think it's okay now.
Yeah. But actually, since, of course, that Daniel Craig is pretty much not going to be James Bond anymore, we think at this point, we were thought it'd be fun to kind of speculate as to who the next Bond could be. And I've pulled up some names who have been some contenders that people keep talking about, and I think one of them is really going to get to Quaid, but we'll just find out.
Oh, man.
All right, so here's the first one. This is the
Lay it
guy.
on us. Let's go.
This is the first guy who they're really talking about.
Yeah.
Who has a real good shot at this? Tom Hiddleston.
Tom Hiddleston.
Loki himself as 007.
He is in an AMC show right now.
The night.
The
What's that called?
The Night Manager?
The night. I can't
The
remember
Night
what.
Watcher? This is like Batman. But it's like, I haven't watched it at all, but if you want a good speculation, like a good idea of what his Bond would be like, I think you should watch that. I feel like that'd be an interesting thing to kind of compare to, because it's kind of like an undercover cop show.
Okay, that sounds good.
I don't think he would be a good Bond, though, in my opinion.
Really?
Hiddleston.
Because I've heard some people who are really excited at the idea, and he's really looking to be the guy, because some local reports said Tom was spotted meeting with Bond director Sam Mendes, who did Skyfall and Spectre, producer Barbara Broccoli, or however you say her name, excuse me,
I
last
don't
week
know.
too.
I don't see him as being
do you
James
think?
Bond, but hey, who knows?
But that's just it. That's
how
what they
they-
said
that's-
with Daniel Craig, and he could
Yeah.
prove to be a really good Bond, but we just don't know.
I think Tom Hiddleston plays a good villain. I think he makes a good Loki. Like that good, like, kind of villain who's like, well, a British villain, because all villains are British nowadays.
He can
but-
play pretty, I don't know, charismatic.
Exactly.
actors.
Exactly. That's a
I'd
good, that's a
say
good way to put it.
he's a charismatic man, because like in Crimson Peak, he's very.
I really enjoyed Crimson Peak.
Yes, and about to say he's good in that too. So even though he's kind of I don't know what you would call him and say he's kind of a in the middle character, or
I don't want to say is an anti-hero.
I wouldn't call him an anti-hero in
That's
that.
like too. That's like, I feel like that's too deep in the villain side of him.
But the point of it is that Tom Hiddleston is looking like he could be the next Bond.
It's an interesting thought.
Yeah. So, are we ready for the next one?
Lay it on
Yeah,
us.
sure.
This is the one I'm thinking Quaid's going to really cringe at.
Okay.
Ready? Henry Cavill. Superman himself.
Whoa.
Well, I don't know. I like Henry Cavill. I mean, I wasn't a big fan of him as Superman. I think he could do a good job if he, I don't know. He's one of those people that you can look at and say, okay, he looks like he could be Bond.
Yeah, he looks like
He looks like a Bond.
Have you guys seen The Man from U.N.C.L.?
I have not, but I've
He
heard
was good
that
in The Man from
He
U.N.C.L.
was great in that movie.
I've heard he's fantastic in that.
What was he play? He played CIA in that movie, right? He was American.
Uh,
I think he was.
yeah.
I'm going to
yeah.
check that, but you guys
That
keep
movie was
going.
really fun. That was a fun movie. Like, that was like a good James Bond movie that isn't a James Bond movie.
It was Henry Cavill and who else? Who was his?
Army Hammer. Or
Yeah.
is that his
yeah,
name?
yeah.
It's like the guy who played
His
Lone
name
Ranger.
was-
His name's first name's Army.
Yeah, Army Hammer.
Yeah, Army Hammer.
That's an amazing name.
That's a good movie.
No, that's awesome. I actually forgot about him being in that role, but I guess that's probably what made me think that he could be a good James Bond, is that he looks like someone who could be James Bond.
He cleans up well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he can wear a suit.
Yeah, you can put a suit
rock
on
that.
him.
You can rock
Also,
that
you can
spot.
I'm not sure
rock
about
that
Tom Hiddleston with the suit, but Henry
I think
Cavill.
Henry Cavill's a better candidate.
Honestly, I kind of think the same thing as well as Tom Hiddleston. Tom Hiddleston, I think, he's British. He's a dapper-looking fellow. He can pull off the good looks and everything. But as far as being an actual spy, I'm not sure if he's actually the guy who could do it. I mean, I know some people who really love Tom Hiddleston and think he would do a good job, and he probably would. But I just think that Henry Cavill personally would do a better job.
Yeah.
All right. But no, that would be interesting to see him take on two iconic roles at the same time:
Yeah.
Superman and James Bond.
He'd be raking in the dough. I'll tell you that.
And that'd be kind of maybe that's part of the one reason why they wouldn't give it to him, because it's like, really, dude, you've got enough already.
Yeah. Okay.
All
Next
right.
one.
Okay, this one is one that one of my friends who really hopes this will happen. Idris Elba.
Idris Elba.
And he seems like he could be a good Bond. I don't know. He also feels like he's got I don't know. He seems like a pretty charismatic person. He could probably do a good Bond.
He is in Luther, right? And I'm not crazy, am I?
I think he is.
I am thinking of the right show. Luther?
Luther?
With Idris Elba?
I think he's
I'm
in
pretty
that,
sure.
yeah.
He plays a good role in that. I mean, I think he'd play a good Bond. I think it'd be interesting.
I'd say it'd be interesting, but then again, I don't know if people would really want him as James Bond. I mean, for one, he's in his 40s now. He's getting
Yeah.
kind of older and things like
But I mean,
that.
how old is Daniel Craig?
Daniel Craig is about, I think he's in his 50s now, but he started in Bond,
50s.
Yeah.
or 40s. I'd have to look
No,
that up
I don't
real
think
quick,
he's. I
but
don't think. I think he's in his 50s.
I'm
or
going to
something
look
by
that up
now.
real
Holy
quick. 'cause
crap.
that's now.
Where have I been?
I think Daniel Craig's in his 50s.
Daniel Craig is actually 48, so he would,
Wow.
Dang.
Yes.
Okay.
I was wrong.
yeah, so, Idris
Sorry,
Elba
Mr.
could
Craig.
possibly do it, but there's this wonderful story, I think it was Roger Moore who was Bond. He was playing this, he was playing James Bond, and
I know the story.
the Bond girl would told him, you're old enough to be my dad. And he was like, you know what? I probably shouldn't play James Bond anymore, so that's probably a one thing. But, Idris
That'd be
Elba
awkward.
would probably be great, but he's probably too old to do this now.
Yeah.
I mean, no offense to him. I think he would do a great job, but I think Bond at this point, we have to start with a younger guy.
I think
Yeah.
it'd be interesting to start a new Bond series of movies with like a young guy, like
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I think you can start with an old guy because you can pretty much stop a Bond film you can stop a series of Bond series anytime. You can switch the actor up after one Bond movie if you really wanted to.
It's true.
And some Bonds that never were that would have been great, even though he's not alive now. Cary Grant, who was actually the first choice to play James Bond before Sean Connery, that would have been a great Bond. And I've seen him in a film called Charade, where he plays this kind of debonair spy guy. He's with Audrey Hepburn, and he's fantastic in that. I kept thinking, it's like, oh, if only he was James Bond. But then again, there's Sean Connery, and he is the quintessential Bond. So.
Yeah, I think Sean Connery is the best Bond, with Goldfinger probably being one of the best, in my opinion, Bond movies.
And of course, there's Dr. No from Russia with Love.
Oh, yeah.
Excuse you, Quaid. He's getting choked up here for some reason.
I'm just not a big Goldfinger fan, I guess.
Anyway, okay, here's the next one. This one would be kind of interesting, but honestly, it'd bring even more grit to the role, I think.
Okay.
Tom Hardy.
Tom Hardy.
That would be an interest. He'd have to shave off his beard, but I've thought of him of like Inception, because I was just thinking a few minutes ago, I've seen him in the Mad Max movies. It was like, he looks too rugged, but then I thought, that might be a good thing. That might be a good thing for
That'd be
James.
so cool to have a gritty James Bond. You know what I mean? Like a dark,
I mean,
I'd
Daniel
like to see
Craig
Tom
very
Hardy.
dark. Like some of the newer Bond stuff is pretty dark.
I like to see Tom Hardy infiltrating a fancy dinner party covered in mud.
It's too gritty.
Hello.
Wait. It's too gritty.
It's
Anyway,
me.
you were saying Hunter.
I was saying it'd be cool to have like a darker James Bond where it has like kind of like a Metal Gear Solid type of thing where it deals with child soldiers in Africa or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's
Like that'd be interesting. With like Tom Hardy like having to infiltrate like an African.
Like a
Tribe.
blood diamond thing
Yeah.
or something like that.
Yeah.
So, that'd be cool. I'd be interested in watching a Tom Hardy Bond movie. I would. I'd be interested.
About to say, and I think, he's one of the younger generations, one of the best actors we have today.
Him and Oscar Isaac are probably my two favorites right now.
Oscar Isaac is a fantastic actor. We've mentioned our love for him in the past because some have even compared him to be this generation's Al Pacino, Oscar Isaac, even though there's no way he's going to play Bond, which is totally unrelated. But Tom Hardy is definitely one of the finest actors, and I didn't realize how many films he'd been in that I
know,
enjoyed.
right?
Because I'd seen him in Inception. I was like, Tom Hardy, that's cool. Then he was in Dark Knight Rises. Then he's in the Mad Max movie, Fury Road. Then he's in The Revenant, and he keeps plowing it every time with great roles and performances. And I'm like, wow, this guy has got something to him. So I think he could really do something with Bond.
He just made a movie that just came out called like, oh man, I don't know the name of the movie, but he played the Cray brothers, which are two famous criminals in England.
Oh yes, was that Black Hat or no? That was Chris Hemsworth. Who was that?
Oh man,
I can't remember.
I can't remember the name of the movie, but he plays both roles. He plays both Cray brothers or twins.
So it's like Eddie Murphy in the Nutty Professor.
Oh God. Yeah, the Nutty Professor. Wait, whoa. Which Nutty Professor is better, the original or the new?
Well, I mean, Hercules.
All right, let's move on from that. We're
all
not
right.
getting to a Nutty Professor conversation.
So Tom Hardy, we got that. And here's the last one. And this one, I didn't know, but this has, according to this, last year, this guy has been given the unofficial nod to becoming Bond.
Okay.
Damian Lewis from Homeland.
Really?
Yeah, some people are talking about him.
He's the actor with the. Isn't he the actor?
Red hair.
Yeah, red hair. Yeah, he's just on Band of Brothers.
Okay,
And,
I think I know who you're talking about.
He's a good actor. I think
See,
he's a good
I
actor.
was unfamiliar with his work whenever I was looking this up. I mean, all the other ones I'd seen, like, of course, Henry Cavill and Superman, Tom Hardy with the movies we mentioned. I mentioned Henry Cavill twice. And Idris Elba in Pacific Rim, and just...
Have you watched Homeland? Have you watched Band of Brothers?
I have not watched either one,
of
but
those?
I've heard they're really good.
Band of Brothers is probably one of the best short episodic TV series on HBO. Really good. I'm talking it is really good. I think it was produced by Tom Hanks.
Tom Hanks.
And
this is the World War II story.
Yeah, I want to say Steven Spielberg, but I might be wrong.
That sounds about right.
I think it was
honestly,
Tom Hanks and Steven Spielberg.
And Tom Hanks seem to have a working relationship.
Homeland is fascinating. It's a fascinating show. It's really good.
But some people say that it kind of dipped in quality after a while.
It did.
The first season. The first season set up a high bar, and then people are like, okay, sure. There are some shows who don't meet that bar, but because you still let them by. But this one just kind of went down.
Well, arguably, True Detective is the same thing. Season 1, True Detective is fantastic. In season 2, it's not as good. It's still pretty good, but it's not as good as the first season.
Now, True Detective, that's Woody Harrelson and Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah, but it changed to Vince Vaughn and.
Okay, I've never pictured Vince Vaughn.
It's kind of like American Horror Story. It changes every season. It's like a.
Okay, I get what you're saying. But so Vince
oh,
Vaughn,
man,
the
who else
Crime
was in
Story. That's just.
I think it was Rachel McAdams is in the second season.
Rachel McAdams. Okay, that I can. Maybe
I think that's.
see.
I think. Yeah, I think that's right.
Rachel McAdams is a female detective. I can maybe picture.
It's the second season's a lot different from the first. First season, watch it. It's a good watch.
So anyway, guys, once again, here, even though they haven't announced it yet, we're based off of these 5 guys. We got Tom Hiddleston, Henry Cavill, Idris Elba, Tom Hardy, and Damian Lewis. Who would you like to see as the next Bond? Quaid?
I would say either Henry Cavill or Tom Hardy. Ooh, but Idris Elba's also
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
They're all so
It's a very
they can all easily play the part.
I'd say it's a competitive race. But,
Yeah, they can all
but
easily.
if you had to pick one, knowing on your deathbed you had the choice to make the next Bond.
I'm gonna pick the.
So I
Hey, that's all I'm
like
saying.
Henry Cavill, but I don't think I'm gonna go with him because I've seen him in. I like to see he's played that kind of role before. So let's say, and I guess Idris Elba's also put that role in, but I'm gonna go with Tom Hardy.
Tom Hardy.
Tom Hardy.
You're a
all
Tom
the way. I want to see a dark. Listen, if you're out there and you're making the next James Bond movie, I want to see a dark, gritty James Bond movie. I want to see it.
About to say, because really in Skyfall they have touched on that, saying like James Bond was an orphan and he was taken in and all this stuff.
That's what I really liked about Spectre and Skyfall.
That's the thing. And some people who even didn't like Casino Royale, believe it or not, they like Skyfall for that very reason, because it's exploring the character of James Bond. Because you know, we all know the guy with the gadgets and the babes and
Batman.
and the six pack. And
You
all that
see,
stuff.
I like Casino Royale, but I honestly found Skyfall a little bit more memorable for me than it for some reason. I don't know why.
You found it more
Skyfall was
memorable?
I thought Skyfall was probably my favorite Daniel Craig Bond
Fair
movie.
enough.
That's respectable. That's a good movie.
That's
a
it. It's
good
a fantastic movie. It's almost similar to Dark Knight Rises in the sense that you know, he's questioning his own abilities. Like, can I still do this or not? But anyway, for me, I think it's probably Tom Hardy for me.
Really?
I
It's Tom
would
Hardy.
love to see Tom Hardy because I'm not just a Tom Hardy fanboy. It's just it really would be interesting to see him take his role in the character.
Yeah,
because
give him. I know he's going to be Max and Mad Max, but give him a consistent role that he's going to play. Like, 'cause he's always been like he's in these huge movies, and he's always a huge role, and even if he's not like the main character and stuff, but at this point he can probably do like a main character of a franchise pretty well. So
definitely, because Mad Max, you know, he wasn't really the main star. That was Charlize Theron.
Yeah. That movie was about Furiosa. It wasn't about
It
Max.
was. It really was.
Max was just there to
Get
mess
people in the
stuff
theater.
up. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I will say, Tom Hardy played a good Max. I
He
thought
did.
he played
Yeah.
a great
And
Max.
that was the amazing thing. A lot of people didn't think he was going to do any justice to the role, but he did very well.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was great. I
So
thought
if he can do that with Mad Max, maybe why not James Bond? Why not? Just
if
saying.
it doesn't work, just one James Bond movie, then we'll move on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I mean, that's the beauty of the James Bond franchise. If it doesn't work, you can just move
know what?
on to the next.
just make 4 James Bond movies with 4 of those 5 people, and see which one people like the best, and then move on with that
But
one.
what if they all like it equally and they just keep making all like
Yeah,
4?
we'll make a second set of them.
There's
all.
like more than one James Bond, but anyway.
You know, that
That'd
sounds
be
pretty cool,
crazy.
actually.
All
They'll
right,
have
so
4
we're all in
different studios.
agreement. We want to see Tom Hardy as the next James Bond.
Make it happen, people.
We want to make it
Let's
happen.
see it.
Just saying, if we have any say in this. But anything else we have to say for movies? Because I actually have something.
Yeah, Jeff kind of went out and saw a movie over the weekend or over the week.
Over the weekend, actually, but it's a film that, you know, we've talked a lot about superhero movies and things like that. I kind of wanted to give a lesser-known movie some props.
It's indie season.
I'd say it's indie season, and this film is called Green Room. For any of you horror films out,
Horror films.
Horror enthusiasts. There you
I
go.
can't
It's all
even
good.
talk.
It's all
Horror
good.
enthusiasts is okay. We got you.
Horror enthusiasts, I think you're in for a real treat with this one because Green Room is basically, it's kind of a body horror thing, but it's not really, it doesn't go for the jump scares.
I hate jump scares.
I'd say that's just it. You see a lot of trailers nowadays with like the new Poltergeist and like, what's that one? I saw a trailer for a movie dealing with the lights, like Lights Out or something like that.
Is it The Darkness?
The Darkness.
They got a 6% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Something like that, and they're always going for the jump
6%?
scares. But this
6%.
is like literally terrifying because horror is not just all. Even though this movie has a lot of blood and guts, it's psychological too
Yeah.
because like you really care about these characters in a sense. Because when you get the standard edition of like the standard family, you know, it doesn't really work. But in this case, we get a bunch of young adolescent punk rockers. You know, kind of the young vibe there. You know, they're siphoning gas from venue to venue, to make a living, barely, and they end up in this club in the Pacific Northwest where they witness something that I won't spoil it, but it's very bad, and they get kidnapped. By
I think it's in the trailer.
Yeah, they see.
It's in the trailer.
Okay, I'll say it. It's a murder.
Yeah, they see a murder.
It's a murder, and they get kidnapped by neo-Nazis and then fight them off. And it's a fantastic film, I think.
Which the subject of this horror film, you see a lot of horror films where there's a people from a modern society, I guess we'll say this is just a complete. This might not even be touching on the same genre that Green Room's based off of.
It's like a horror
But,
thriller.
Yeah, which I love psychological horror movies. And you take a few teens or whatever from a modern society, you put them in a situation that they're not familiar with. So like this sense, it's neo-Nazis. Another sense, it's cannibals. Or like in this another sense, it's a different part of the world or whatever.
Yeah.
And always makes it an interesting movie. I watched the Green Inferno.
The
funny
Green
enough.
Inferno, Eli Roth.
It wasn't the best movie I've ever seen. By far not the best cannibal movie I've ever seen, but it was all right.
Yeah.
I mean, it was an interesting concept.
I'd say that's just it. And also, I want to give praise to like Patrick Stewart, who plays a great villain in this film, and also to some of the young actors. Imogene Poots, I think is her name. She's a young actress in there. She's set to play in The Neon Demon, I believe, also,
Which looks good.
which looks awesome, from Nicholas Winding Refn. And but anyway, this is just. It's not the best horror film I think you're going to see in recent years. I think that title could go like to the Bob and Duke or something like that. Something more psychological. But this is more horror thriller. If you don't mind a little bit of violence, because I will say this makes some Tarantino movies look pretty tame. This is
Really?
Wow.
Well, I thought
That's
so.
probably saying
That-
something.
I thought so, but there's like anything that goes wrong in this movie can go wrong. Like there's all sorts of. I don't even want to go into it.
Let's do this. On a scale of the Bear Jew scene where he's killing the Nazi sergeant from Inglourious Bastards to shooting Marvin's head, like where it doesn't show the violence but there's blood splatters everywhere.
Yeah.
Where does it fall under? Does it actually fall under like the Bear Jew? You see the Bear Jew
Well, that's a kind of interesting thing.
beating the head in.
Well, that's a kind of interesting thing because Tarantino, even in his most violent moments, he's always not implying things. His movies aren't as violent as people make them out to be. Because, for example, Reservoir Dogs, the ear scene, Stuck in the Middle with You. They never show the ear. They pan away from it, and you just hear the sound. This movie shows the violence. Like, you see everything. It's, like, really gross. It really is, but it's not the best movie I've ever seen, but I give it 3 out of 4 stars, personally.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, so if any of you are looking for a good horror movie on the weekend that doesn't have to do with all jump scares and everything, something that'll really thrill you with that's down and dirty with an art house sensibility, then I think you're really going to enjoy this.
Let's go with this scale.
Okay.
Buy, rent, or just pass?
Buy, rent, or
Pass, which one would you do?
you mean
For the green room. Like, would you buy the movie? Would you just rent the movie? Or would you suggest buying the movie, renting the movie, or just passing on the movie?
I think that depends on the kind of person you are, really, honestly.
Okay.
Because, like, if you're, like, into maybe Saw or something like that, something really gruesome and thrilling, then I think, yeah, this would probably be something you would put on your shelf. But if you're looking for something just to watch on the weekend with your friends, I would not rent it because I saw some some teenagers go into that movie and they were like, oh my gosh, this is so terrible. It is so gruesome. And I will admit, it is gruesome. Very gross. But I'm just saying, it's not the kind of movie where you can just like eat popcorn because this movie will make you
Queasy?
queasy. This is a brutal film, I'm just saying.
So if you're fans of body, it's
Well,
not body
well,
horror.
it's not really body horror, but
gore
like
horror?
maybe like the Splat Pack and then thrilling horror movies or something like that. Then I think you're in for a treat with this.
So
one.
buy it if you're in like Saw, and rent it if you're just interested.
Well, maybe rent it if you're just interested. Maybe watch it by yourself, and use your own discretion when it comes to this movie. That's my personal thing because it's kind of like what I say. I'm not saying like, oh my goodness, you have to see this. I'm just saying that if that's in your taste, I think you'll enjoy it.
Because I just watched a movie called The Boy with the girl who plays Maggie in The Walking Dead. I don't know the actress name. I forget.
I forget it too.
But that movie, the twist ending was there's a twist ending like every other horror movie.
Of course.
But it was an interesting twist ending. It's probably one that I haven't seen in a long time. But I'm not gonna name any movies like it because that kind of spoiler kind of gives it away. So I'm not gonna name anything like that.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I hate horror movies that just rely on jump scares alone. And if you take a movie that just relies on jump scares, so give me an example. Let's see.
Poltergeist.
Poltergeist. Or Insidious too. Insidious is another, like, a lot of people say that movie's terrifying. It is if you watch it in theaters, but if you watch it at home, it's not scary.
Yeah, and about saying, and it doesn't stick with you. In
Yeah.
a sense. You don't lose sleep over it.
And when you watch a movie that just relies on jump scares, just sit there, mute the audio, watch the movie. Not scary at all.
Mm-hmm.
Because whenever you just watch it with no audio, those movies rely so much on sound. And not just, I mean, there are other psychological horror movies that rely on sound, right? But they do it in such an interesting way, like Antichrist. There's, during the slow motion scenes where she's walking through the woods, and there's no music. It's just her talking with her husband about like what her problem is. But the ambient noise, like the ambient white noise in the background, just adds to the scene. It's like,
Definitely,
oh my god, it's
the
terrifying.
the use of silence can do a lot, really, because there's some really interesting video essays on YouTube. Because I've heard like for example, there's this YouTube channel that showed how Martin Scorsese used silence, and it compared like the two Superman movies, like Man of Steel and the original '70s Superman. Like, you know, there's like the Superman who flies into space after the death of a character I can't.
Zod. No, it was he was screaming.
Yeah, he was screaming. He's like, no, and he's
Yeah.
flying away. This is the '70s movie, and then in the
Oh wait, no, that wasn't.
and then the Man of Steel one, he's
Man of Steel is the one with Zod.
Yeah, the
With
Man
Death
of
of Zod.
Steel is the one. Then he's yelling, but you know, it may seem silent, but there's always like music in the background, slowly swelling up. So,
And it's just, I just much prefer psychological horrors.
Yeah.
It's true. I just do. I mean, it's cooler than me.
But basically, if you're into thrillers and don't mind a little violence, then you'll have fun with this, I think.
I'm gonna check it out. I'm really interested. I've been interested in this movie for a long time, and is it produced by A24?
Yes, A24 produced.
And then
it.
they're also coming out with another movie called the Swiss Army Man.
Oh,
with
yes.
Daniel Radcliffe.
Daniel
that looks
Radcliffe and
pretty
Paul
cool.
Dano. Yes.
That movie looks good, but that's just me.
Yeah, but anyway,
All
let's
right.
go on.
So next up, we have weird news. We only have one weird news story today. Not a lot of weirdness out there. So come on, Florida, pick it up. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, Florida, you're fine.
right now, it's kind of an interesting story. Also, kind of falls under tech, but it's a dog collar that can measure emotions. The dog's emotions.
Oh, the dog's emotions.
So,
I thought it was for people.
So what this does is it measures heartbeat that translates to a certain emotion and changes the color of the device depending on the emotion. So if it's like blue, it's like happy. If it's red, it's like distraught, anger,
Okay.
stuff like that. Which is kind of odd because I guess it'd be interesting to know what your dog's emotion is.
Yeah, I guess, but
I'd be interested.
You'd be interested?
Yeah, no, I would definitely be interested to know that. Got 2 dogs. One of them's a pug. Can't really tell what they're feeling.
I'll say, bugs, they're so mysterious. They're so,
True.
They got those little eyes that are just like, oh, you're so cute, but you can't tell what they're thinking. It's like, yes, look into my eyes.
Yeah.
Look into my eyes.
I want to see what happens if you put it, since it measures on heartbeat. Excuse me. I want to put it on a human and see like what it does on a human being. Like you put them like in a very anxious situation.
Well, let's hope it never has to be used on a human, or it never is used on a human, or else we know what kind of situation is going on there.
Yeah. So I just thought that was kind of a funny story because I don't know.
No, that's pretty cool though.
Now, who came up with this? Was it some company in Japan or who?
Yeah, it was a Japanese company, which Japan is just making up all kinds of cool stuff.
I'll tell you, they're
nowadays.
making all kinds of
It's
stuff
just
that are really ahead of the
crazy,
time.
crazy over there. But and I think they tested this out on a corgi first.
Corgi?
I want to say I don't know. It was cool because I think they talked about how they put it on the dog, and they somehow had an experiment with giving it a walk, and before and after it was like the mood had changed
Oh.
because it was just more relaxed and
So
happy
it was
or
more
something.
relaxed after walking.
Yeah, I
and
don't
all
know.
that
It was
stuff?
something like that. I didn't really read a lot into it,
Okay.
Yeah.
but
pretty
I
cool.
thought it was a cool story.
Yeah.
It was
I'd say,
another cool little tech thing.
I'd say, how do you think that? How do you think this would really help dogs in particular? You know, the dog-human relationship. Do you think man's best friend could become even better due to this dog collar if we had more mutual understanding?
You know, I think it's gonna turn up, and they're gonna eventually just like start talking. Have this dog
Whoa.
call us like a
Oh,
dog.
just like an up, like, my name is Doug,
Yeah.
and I love you.
I think that it will be helpful to some owners who, like, I don't know, who maybe don't understand their dogs more, or just people who really want to see. I mean, if it works, really, but if it can actually accurately detect these emotions, that'd be amazing for an owner to have, because they know when to do. When their dog needs either like more love or somebody it's not getting enough attention, things like that, to properly raise your dog to being, to really being man's best friend.
Yeah.
So,
Cool.
there you go.
All right, well, that's the end of the first half of the show. So that's a wrap for the first. Don't throw those off the table.
That's how we don't want to do that, but we spent a lot of time on Bond and
Yeah.
Ghostbusters.
It's all good.
Yeah.
We always spend most time on movies, which is cool.
Yeah.
But we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back here in just a minute. So stay tuned.
Who doesn't like saving money? Gas prices can be hard to predict, and using public transportation can be a way for everyone to keep some extra dough in their pocket. Rides Mass Transit District is celebrating National Dump the Pump Day, Thursday, June 16th, by encouraging everyone to save money and choose public transportation. More information about money-saving transit passes, discount tickets, and a fare savings calculator can be found by heading to ridesmtd.com or by phoning your local dispatch office at 877-667-6118.
There we go. Hey, welcome back.
Yeah, we kind of disappeared for a second.
It's time for tech news. So let's go ahead and check out what's going on in the tech world. First up, I thought this was crazy because this did not happen to me, I'll tell you that. I was
Crazy
too busy
fact.
outside playing. But the new average...
old man.
Oh, shut up.
Oh, back in my day, we hunted bears.
See, that's the terrible thing. We're college students, and we think like, and we're already thinking, oh, back in my day.
Yeah. It's just those dang whippersnappers
Yeah.
with all their smartphones and their tablets.
But anyway,
The new average age to get a smartphone is 10.3 years old.
That is a little iffy.
Yeah, it's a
new
little
age,
about that.
in the new age of smartphones. I think around 10. What grade in school would you be around that age? I forget.
10.
10? Is it like second?
No, not in second grade. You'd be
third,
you'd be around four. You'd be around in fourth grade.
Fourth grade? Okay. We're going fourth.
That's way too early then.
That's
Never
all
mind.
I didn't even have a phone until like fifth grade.
I didn't have mines until mines. I didn't have mines.
I got I had gotten an iPod at one point, like in middle school, but no smartphone. I had like the Samsung Juke, like that flip one that's like sideways.
I
that
remember
flips.
that because you showed me
Yeah.
a GIF on it, and it was the best thing ever. It was like
cool. You can-
the banana from the peanut butter jelly dance.
It's peanut butter jelly time.
That was a long time ago, people. I swear
Yeah,
that
you're
was
welcome.
not. That was
You're
not
welcome.
recent.
Yeah,
I
that
just
was
told a very
middle
embarrassing
school,
story
maybe.
about Quaid.
That was a long.
The-
I have to admit that was so
Wait,
cool.
I didn't know about this. Tell me more.
No.
Oh, I can tell you a lot about
But
that juke.
nowadays,
We'll do it after the show. But anyway,
nowadays that's terrifying because back in our days in middle school, I mean, there was social media, but it was like it was exiting the phase that like MySpace was starting to go away around that point, and now it's very scary with how prominent the internet and all these like social media platforms are to where kids can be exposed to anything.
Yeah.
In fifth grade now, kids can be exposed
Yeah.
to horrible things because there's no age filter or anything.
There's
Like,
Reddit 50-50 out there.
yeah, someone could put their age down as 18 if they want to. Even
it's
if they're
just terrible.
even if they put down their age younger, actually, they have to. I'm pretty sure there's an age requirement on like Twitter and things like that. I'm pretty sure,
I don't know. I don't
which
use Twitter.
means
I'd say I don't-
that kids can just fake their age and they can be exposed to some crazy stuff.
Oh
I
yeah.
don't
Like,
know,
you could
it's
find
that
anything
that
on the internet.
early.
Like literally anything.
I'd say that's just that. Then a lot of things on YouTube, you can easily find on YouTube. Just like put in your email, sign in to confirm your age or
It's like
something.
the Bashcast. You can find the Bashcast pretty easy on YouTube.
Yeah, and
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Self plug.
But what were you saying, Wade?
Oh, nothing. I'm just saying that it's a little early. I'd say 10.3 years old. That means that there are people younger than 10.3 years old that are getting smartphones too. Because
I
if the
know.
average is 10.3, that's not the minimum
Because
age.
it's funny. I was going to a baseball game last night over at Busch Stadium, and I remember I was sitting in the nosebleed section, and then there was these kids who were like maybe 3 or 4, and they were carrying around a little phone or something like that. I'm like, oh no. That's
I've seen kids in like first grade with like tablets, which is probably isn't as bad as smartphones because
Oh,
I'm sure
yeah.
the parents give them to them like help distract them, help them learn,
Yeah,
which is
yeah.
okay. But like then I see with smartphones, like texting, I'm like, how old are you? I'm like, are you
Yeah, I don't
like
know.
6?
Yeah, and it kind of makes you wonder what that they're developing into exactly. Because, I mean, I hate to sound like the oldest guy on the block, but you hear so many kids nowadays who are so obsessed with themselves, and then it's just. I know it's really hard to quantify exactly what is going on, and some people may think, oh, this is silly, this is something we should never worry about, but really, I think it is something that we
Yeah,
should
they're
worry
being
about
exposed.
because this is our future, and it's hard to quantify, it really is.
Yeah, it's such an odd issue to touch on because everyone has differing opinions,
Yeah.
which is okay, but I don't know. I still think it's just too young.
I don't want to be that old person who talks about cyberbullying and stuff like that, but I feel like I don't think cyberbullying's that big a deal once you get into like high school and stuff like that. But earlier on, kids get angry
Kids are
pretty
mean.
easy. No,
Kids
yeah,
are
kids will be
but-
mean to
and
each
I
other
still
because they don't
think
know
it's
any
bad
better.
in high school, and I'll say.
I think it's bad in high school, but I think that people can take it and understand. I don't know. It's a lot easier to understand in high school that it's not as big a deal. But in middle school, earlier than that, kids just don't exactly control their emotions and stuff too well.
And they're still developing.
Yeah, and that's very bad to, put that kind of stuff on the kids so early.
I'd say it's really sad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a very interesting
I'd
fact.
say it's
Yeah.
an interesting
So,
topic, so we're sorry if we kind of killed the mood there.
I was just thinking. I was just thinking about cyberbullying and thinking how bad it was now because I know a while back there was an ABC Family movie called Cyberbully, the worst movie for
Bad
the
movie.
topic.
Very bad
because
movie.
it just was not. It wasn't a good discussion on the topic. It was
What-
basically saying
it was just black and white. In a sense.
it was like
It was just
basically
like-
what it was. It was a girl in high school who had a laptop and she's getting cyberbullied, and they said that like the best way to deal with it is just to quit the internet and then just try not to to kill yourself. It's like you're trying to kill yourself.
Quitting the internet is not
that's-
easy.
And
that's
to
not
do.
you shouldn't quit the internet. Like you shouldn't get off the internet. You just ignore it. You know what I mean? Like just don't worry about what those people say. It's just it's stupid.
I'd say it's all you.
Yeah, it's like-
it's learn to accept yourself.
Yeah,
and just
be who you are. I mean,
just be
everyone's
proud
unique.
of who you are, because there's this and I feel like that we're getting really into some dark territory here.
Well,
I mean,
But I will say
a serious
this.
discussion.
But I
It's
will
just
say
advice.
this on a lighter tone. Like Kurt Cobain, the great Kurt Cobain of Nirvana, he said, and I may be paraphrasing it a little bit, but what he said is that wishing that you were someone else is a waste of the person that you already are. And I
That's
just-
a good way to put it.
and I just thought that was a really deep statement right there, and it's just hit home.
Jeff brings the deepest stuff to this podcast.
What can I say?
This is good stuff right here.
Yeah.
This is
I'll
good.
say I tried.
Good work, Jeff. Good job.
Good job.
That was a
Okay.
very good statement.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'd say would we like to move on to the next topic?
Yeah, I also wanted something a little funny.
I'll say so.
Let's leave the dark side and come to the more lighter side.
Come to the
This
light
is pretty
side.
dark.
We have
This is
good
pretty
stuff.
dark stuff, guys.
This is some pretty interesting video game news. Basically, every year there's a new Call of Duty. Okay, it's just simple. There's a new Call of Duty every year. Very famous franchise. This one's called Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. It's now the most hated video game trailer of all time. The likes are 389,659. The dislikes are 2,442,179.
Wow.
With the number of views being 23,503,091.
Wow.
That's rough.
That is the largest dislike to like ratio of any video game trailer ever.
But as I compare it to the ratio of Ghostbusters, even though it's not a video game,
Actually, Ghostbusters only has about 881,000 dislikes and like 100,000
oh wow, and this
likes.
is really
Yeah,
big.
this is really blown up.
This is big.
It wasn't too bad before the new Battlefield trailer came out because it was a big deal because the trailers both came out within like a week of each other. So after the Call of Duty one came out, people were saying negative things about it already, but then Battlefield took a step up and they said that that trailer was terrible. The people there who worked for that game were even talking about how their trailer was going to just beat it out, and it did.
It did. Holy crap!
The like dislike ratio on the Battlefield game is phenomenal. Like you barely even see like any dislikes in this bar, but because of that accentuated all of this hate for Infinite Warfare, for the new Call of Duty game, and it's blown up.
I heard a very interesting argument about why it was getting so many dislikes, and I disliked it just because it's the same thing every year. I just really just couldn't care less anymore. But I grew up with the Call of Duty franchise. We used to play it all the time. It's like couch co-op with me, you, and your brother. We just sit around and just play. It's fun. It's a fun. The old Call of Duties are fun. The problem is they're selling the remastered version of Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, which is people say the quintessential Call of Duty game. Like that's the best Call of Duty game of all time. They're selling that. Everyone's really happy about that. Except the only way to get it is you have to buy
You have to buy a bundle
Infinite Warfare
with Infinite Warfare.
$80.
Wait, what?
You have to buy.
It comes with it.
And it comes with the game.
So it's something that you can.
You can't get it by itself.
You can't get it by itself. You have to
That
buy
kind of
this.
reminds me almost of when you, like, if you had an Apple product, you got U2's new album or something.
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
It's
It's basically, you can say it because sales have been dropping. They need something to get they need a large sale to tell investors and things like that. Call of Duty's alive again. Ooh.
Exactly.
So why not put the most popular game that everyone wants to play? My brother's it was his favorite game, Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. It was his favorite Call of Duty. And once I told him about it, he was stoked, super excited before he heard the news that it was part of it. But but it's taking all these old fans that got tired of it, and it's trying to rope them back in to tell investors, hey, look at how many copies we're selling. Because if they're buying Modern Warfare, they're buying Infinite Warfare, which is going to tell investors, hey, the series, people like the games, so let's invest in them. Give them money.
That's a good point.
So
And I feel like a lot of people are disliking it just because of the bundle. Just because
that's
people
a terrible
don't
thing.
want to buy the stupid new game when they want to play their favorite game.
It's a horrible
And
thing to do.
It's gonna eventually be on sale by itself. You
Yeah.
know that, right? They're just
As
getting more
soon
money
as-
right
as
here.
soon as sales go down.
It's kind of like a promotional deal. I think some people kind of I hate to bring this guy up again, but Kanye West with Tidal.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me in the sense that there are so many dislikes and complaints about a certain thing that eventually you'll have to give in and release the game separately. I think just like Kanye said, "Oh, I'm never going to release this on Apple Music and YouTube," and then he does that very thing.
Yeah.
Quade made a good point. As soon as sales start dropping, boom, it's out.
Yeah,
It's
it's
out.
That's
out
probably
alone.
that's probably what
So
the marketing idea is.
it's a very big ordeal in gaming news right now, and it's a pretty crazy topic to talk about because this is kind of like a lot of people are saying, "Oh, Call of Duty's dead," and it's like
People are
it's
getting-
been dead for me. But
Yeah. People are getting tired of it.
it's tiring, and I think sales are probably gonna drop
Yeah.
just because of the new game, but they also might rise at the same time because of the bundle. But I feel like most people are just gonna wait.
I feel like people are gonna go for Battlefield instead.
Oh, dude, I'm up for Battlefield.
I'm
That
gonna get
looks
that too.
good. Oh my god, it looks so good.
You think that people will get tired of Battlefield also in a sense
Well-
later as time goes on?
Well, as you can see, if you really go at it, another thing that we never even talked about was that Infinite Warfare, it keeps going further into the future. Like now they're fighting in space now at this point. What
People are tired of that.
what Battlefield is doing is going back to its roots and going to World War I, which people have been clamoring for such a long time with Call of Duty again. People are getting so tired that like the last 4 or 5 Call of Duty games are just going future, like mech suits, things like that. Crazy, like people want, when people play these games about war, they want to feel like they were part of an actual war, like not like they're playing a space game. If they want a space game, they're gonna play Star Wars Battlefront or something like that.
Yeah.
So people are
Jinx.
yeah,
Oh, there you go. You almost
people are excited to see this Battlefield coming out around the same time, right?
Yeah, I think I want to say November.
Yeah. So they're coming out around the same time.
Yeah.
People are gonna probably opt for World War I rather than going to space.
I'm going for Battlefield. That's just me. Actually, I'm going for Overwatch. Go play Overwatch. That's the quintessential
Yeah,
shooter.
yeah.
Go play Overwatch.
Next Tuesday.
And what's sad is that, I'm the least gamer guy here,
Yeah.
That's the most I ever had was like a Nintendo DS and a Wii. I never got Wii
Hey.
U.
Well, you're the movie. You know so much about movies.
Yeah.
And other stuff I tried, but
Like Quaid and I, we've
Movies,
grown up
music.
on video games. Like we've had couch like co-op. We sit down and play
Long
games with each
time.
other for years, like since kindergarten, man. And like this stuff is pretty important to us because this is stuff we used to play. This is stuff that's like close to our hearts. And just them not selling it alone in the first place, it just sucks.
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm waiting for Time Splitters remake. That's just me. That's like one of my favorite games.
So overall, what do we think? I'm
Oh,
going to stay.
On Call of Duty,
No way.
About to say.
Battlefield.
I'm going to stay neutral on this because
Yeah, it's
I
understandable.
just
okay.
don't know enough.
It's understandable, man. It's understandable.
Make a fair statement.
All right, well, Hayden, you want to come in on this? Oh, he's going to the back. All right, well, he'll slide here.
He'll be in here in a minute.
But, we're
but for
moving-
those of you who don't know already, our producer Hayden comes
Yeah.
in sometimes, and
He's the one who slides in from the far right.
Trash.
Well, I guess
I'd say
left
so.
of the screen.
That's say so. We'll
Slides
make room
right
for
in.
him in
But,
a minute. But anyway,
Basically, let's go ahead and move on to music news. And some interesting music news has come out. There have been talks of Rage Against the Machine and Public Enemy merging, correct? Or are they just
That-
collaborating?
no, I think they're actually making a new group. And
Okay.
It's called Prophets of Rage. And they're supposed to debut it. I forget when exactly they're supposed to debut it. I'm going to be looking it up here. But they're going to be debuting, I know, in Hollywood, California.
Okay.
So that's definitely going to be interesting. But what do you guys think of the idea of it?
I don't know a lot about Public Enemy. I don't. I just know like a little bit, and I know a tiny bit of Rage Against the Machine. It's just not my type of music, I guess.
I don't know much about either of them really, but I do know that if they're grouping together like this, there must be something that both of them see, and if there's something that two different groups are seeing by merging into each other, I don't know. It sounds good.
I'd say it'll probably be interesting. And I think Rage Against the Machine, from what I know of them, Tom Morello is considered one of the most innovative guitar players of all time, and their music has always had a bit of hip hop to them, and it's kind of led the way to new metal like Linkin Park and Limp Bizkit and stuff like that. So to get some of the icons of rap itself and the icons of rock together, that's really cool for me.
I mean, if these two giant groups merge, like it's just gonna create one giant, I guess, mosh pit of fans. You know what I mean? Like this is gonna be one heck of a band, like one heck of a group to compete with, that
Yeah.
others in the genre have to compete with. It's just gonna be crazy. I think it's a cool idea.
Yeah,
I think it's a cool
I
idea.
think it's cool.
I'd say it's pretty crazy. And the 5-person group will consist of Tom Morello, their guitarist, bassist Tim Comerford, and drummer Brad Wilk, plus hip-hop legends Chuck D and, B Real from Cypress Hill. So
I've heard of Cypress Hill.
Cypress Hill.
Yeah,
So
Cypress
this
Hill's where it's at, man.
What?
Oh,
From the
whoa,
back.
There he is.
this is the
awesome.
first time on
That's
our
awesome.
podcast.
That's what I was.
That's
looking,
really
that
cool.
was what I was
So
looking for.
Hayden, do you have anything else to say on this for right now?
Not really. Just want to say that sounds like an amazing idea, and I'm down for it.
You're down for it?
He's down for it.
Hey.
Hey.
Sounds good.
Hey.
All right, well, Hayden, you want to go ahead and talk about... Wait. Okay, before we get to the next topic, thumbs up or thumbs down for this?
Oh man, that's real quick. But
I'm gonna
You
give
wanna
it.
keep
I'm
going?
gonna give
You
it.
wanna keep- You have more to add?
I don't know, but I'm just trying to figure out what exactly that you got these 3 groups together. I mean, I think it'll work. Yeah, let's just go ahead because I think for me, as a fan, I think this will work. I think
Okay.
this will work. So
Thumbs up?
Yeah, thumbs up.
Quay, what about you?
Thumbs up.
Give us a thumbs up for me. I'm going to check out the music. It's a cool idea. So...
About saying, and we're sorry that we're cutting or at least I am for cutting this
Oh,
so
it's all
short.
good.
But it's just that this is just new information. We'll find out more as time goes on. But
Yeah.
expect probably new music from the band called Prophets of Rage.
Yeah, and we're probably going to touch on this topic again. So, like, we'll come back to this.
Okay.
Easy.
Yeah.
Later on in a future episode. All right, well, to our last topic. This is a topic that Hayden's going to touch on. And So take it away, Hayden, whenever you're ready.
All right, I want to talk about the Mesker Park Music Festival. It is a community effort for Evansville. They're trying to bring back and save Mesker Park, which is an amphitheater in Evansville, Indiana. So the community is raising awareness and funds to save Mesker Park. And they're doing this by putting on a huge event. This event's going to be huge. It's going to be the 28th of this month. 891's the sponsor of this event, so that's really cool as well. You're going to see a lot of good bands there. There's going to be over 50 amazing local bands there at the Mesker Park, including 3 that actually played in the Sunfest. You got So Long Vinyls, Wax Astro, and also the Django Sheep. They're going to be playing there. And don't forget, there's going to be a lot of amazing artists. There's going to be actually an EDM/hip-hop stage as well. There's going to be an acoustic stage. There's going to be a metal stage. There's going to be a punk rock stage. There's going to be all kinds of great music, and it's just awesome to see a local community come together and make such a great event like this. I'm really stoked on being a part of it. There's also going to be Mock Orange, which is a really famous band out of Evansville. Thunder Dreamer is like a folk rock band out of Evansville. It's going to be an insane time, so can't wait for that. So the 28th of this month, be there because it's going to be great. It's going to be all day long. I'm going to talk to, if you can't make it, I think they're going to be live streaming it on their website, so savemeskerpark.com or something like that. I'm not going to say that's the exact domain name because I'm not sure, but they are going to be streaming it live, so that's going to be really cool. If you can't make it, you can check it out live. Also, I'm pretty sure that 891's going to do a live remote. So you'll catch me and probably Cody at the event, letting you guys hear some of the music, doing a little bit of a live show. It's going to be a great time, so can't wait for it. Send it back to you guys.
Wait, before you send it back, what is Mesker Park?
Mesker Park is an amphitheater in Evansville.
All right.
It's I think they do outdoor events, of course.
Okay, so it's like a theater.
Yeah,
okay.
but it's just
All
kind of a cool
All right,
local
cool.
thing.
Well, it
they're
sounds
trying
like
to
a
do.
really good cause. I
Yeah, it
think,
sounds awesome.
especially for this area.
Yeah. And so we got some awesome bands going. It's gonna be a good time. So you guys can go check it out.
I'll say for those of you who don't remember, I'm just plugging in the Django Sheep. Django Sheep, I became a fan of them once I saw them at the Sunfest, and I was like, okay, I saw them play White Stripes, but even before then, I was like, okay, I dig these guys. So,
Yeah.
so there's some good music out there for you guys. So go ahead and definitely check it out, I think.
So anything else, guys?
I don't think so.
No.
No.
All right. Well, thank you so much for tuning in on the first Bashcast episode of the summer. Expect one every
Some
week.
Bashcast, baby.
Well, maybe every week.
Probably every week. We'll probably have a bonus episode every week, or at least a regular episode of the podcast.
We're going to try and stay consistent.
Yeah.
So we apologize for any of you who may have been waiting for us, but we're still, of course, we're still working this.
We're
thing.
still here. So don't worry. More Bashcasts coming your way over the summer. So new amazing topics, new games coming up, new ideas. Got some special stuff headed your way. So make sure you guys keep it tuned in right here on 891 The Bash YouTube page. There we go.
Yeah,
And watch
and our
Bashcast.
tower will be fixed hopefully soon.
Yeah. So keep it here on the Bashcast. Till next time. We'll see you later.